You can start, Rika. Yes.
Okay. Devpriya, thank you very much for joining us today and wish all of you a very, very happy new year. I know that entrepreneurs are typically uh, a very busy group. They are busy on all days, but normally, they do spare time for us between 4 and 5 on days when we decide to do some of these very engaging sessions, and they do know the value of your time on the platform as well. Just to introduce who Devapriya is, she's a dear friend and she's been an influential leader in the field of branding, business, and gender diversity. She's had a career of over 2 decades with multinational corporations like Nestle, GE, ICICI Prudential, Oriflame, and many others. She has made a very successful transition into entrepreneurship in 2014 and is the driving force behind Connexus Global Ventures. She is, in fact, encouraging women to do cross-border trade. She does a lot of cross-border. She helps women get into cross-border trade in the India-UK corridor. Today, of course, she's going to talk about small businesses and how to scale them up within the limited resources that you have. Over to you, Devapriya, and we are looking forward to a very engaging and insightful session over the next hour.
Thank you so much, Rika. That was a very generous introduction. It's lovely to be here today. Good evening to everyone. And just to tell you a little more about why I'm very passionate about this topic. This is a topic which is at the intersection of two of my passions, which is branding marketing as well as women in business. And like Rika said, I've spent almost 2 decades working with big corporations with unlimited resources, unlimited budgets, and brand building there and marketing there took on a completely different perspective. There was no shortage of money. Of course, there were different challenges, but it was always we weren't always strapped for funds. But when I became an entrepreneur, when I crossed over to the other side, I started working, of course, on my own brands and businesses, but on helping a lot of women in business build their brands, be they corporate brands, personal brands. It was both of them. And the one thing that I realized having crossed over to the other side is that budget was a luxury, and therefore it became a mission for me to work with female founders to help them really manage their marketing and their branding effectively on a shoestring budget. And every time I would get founders coming to me and saying that their biggest, like there was no lack of ambition. And definitely with all the participants here in the audience here today, there's no lack of ambition, there's no lack of skills, there's no lack of planning. But where we are crunched is essentially as far as resources go. So it thanks for giving me the opportunity, Rika, and Aspire for Her Entrepreneury to really talk to you about this, because what I'm going to present to you today, and hopefully it will be interactive at some stage, is coming after a lot of research, a lot of working with startups, a lot of my own experiences. So if I could just share the screen. I mean, typically I don't like to get into too many slides, but I've put together a few slides because Rika, you told me that the audience would be kind of, coming in later as well, and we would be looking at multiple formats. So I've put a few slides together just to keep the sanity of the whole conversation in place. But yeah, so here goes. If you can just tell me if you can see this slide.
Yes, we can.
All right. All right. So essentially what we are talking about is effective marketing strategies for small businesses. And marketing, you will see, is typically when a founder comes to me, she tells me that, okay, just get my social media up and going. And can you just help me with my stories? And engagement nahi ho raha hai, and things like that. And the first thing I tell them is that is not what marketing is. let's look at what marketing actually is. So today, what I intend to do is I'm going to keep this really simple. I'm going to keep it very actionable. I'm going to talk a little bit about why we need to have a marketing strategy or even marketing roadmap in place. And we're also going to talk about what marketing is not. And then I'll leave you with some must do's that you can just carry with you, and simply just if you just jot down those things for your business, I think it'll be effective, and it'll really take you a long way. And we're just in January. The whole year lies ahead of us for you to experiment with all of these. Okay, so just diving right in, and I'd request the entrepreneurial team to help me out with any questions if they come, or if there's anything. There are a few people in the room, so if there's anything that needs to be discussed at any point, just help me, because I'm sharing my screen, so I may or may not be able to see the chat box. All right. Okay. So like everything else, for me, the starting point always is why. Why am I doing something? And Simon Sinek, ever since everyone knows about that start with why of Simon Sinek, and ever since I kind of adopted that philosophy, whatever I do, even if it is just something on the personal front, I check in with myself. Why am I doing this? So many a times this might cross your mind as a founder, as a woman entrepreneur, just as an entrepreneur, that why do I even need a marketing strategy, or why do I need to do marketing? Because my product is very good. I'm already doing very well. I have a captive audience. People are buying my products. People know me. So why do I need to do marketing? And I will tell you right here and right now is that is marketing really is the core of your business, marketing and branding. And it's not because I'm a brand strategist and a marketing strategist that I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this with deep experience, because if you're not investing in marketing as far as your time and your money goes, then you're losing out on a huge opportunity. Now, let's quickly look at why we need to even have a marketing strategy in place, or why do we even need to do marketing as a small business? So the first thing, no brainer, obviously, is because we want to enhance our visibility and brand awareness, right? You cannot expect to be profitable while being the world's best kept secret. We all know jo dikta hai wo bikta hai, as simple as that. So a robust marketing strategy will allow women-owned businesses to stand out in competitive markets. And the alphabets that I'll be using, uh, marked in maroon here, you need to take note of these, because here I'm talking about VCP, which is visibility equals to credibility, which therefore leads to profitability. Okay. Now, if you see something repeatedly, the credibility of that thing enhances. And with credibility comes trust. And if you trust something, you will engage, you will buy from them, and there in turn, your product will be profitable, or your business will be profitable. So remember this VCP equation, right? Okay. Then next, build brand recognition. It will be easier. So if your brand is recognizable across multiple touch points, it becomes easier for customers to recognize and remember the brand. And again, this is TOMA. This will lead to top of mind awareness. Okay, so we discussed VCP. Now I'm talking about top of mind awareness. So imagine there are five small businesses that are in the skincare business, okay, in the skincare domain. Now, if your brand is built well, and if your brand is sort of, coming through very interestingly and consistently across each touch point, then your customers will be able to recognize and remember your business, and you will be top of mind. The recall will be top of mind. And what I'll do is I'm going to sort of, uh, talk about brand building later, where I'll tell you how exactly this is done. Then it helps you expand your customer base to reach new customers, thereby expanding the client base and potential revenue streams. Okay, this is self-explanatory. Obviously, if you're with a clear marketing, robust marketing strategy, you will reach out to newer customers. Your client base will keep increasing, and your revenue streams will also increase. You will be able to compete effectively by leveraging your unique selling propositions and niche markets. And you will be able to cultivate trust and credibility, establishing long term relationships and loyalty, which is again something that I call the KLT. Now, the KLT is to know, like, and trust, right? So, knowledge is all about brand awareness. I know about my business, I know about the brand. Therefore, obviously, it's very, very easy for me to be visible, right? Now, like, it's important, it's good if brands are, if my business is liked by my target audience, but more important is trust. Because like I mentioned earlier, if I trust you, then I will engage with you, I will buy from you, and we'll do business together. So this KLT is very important to move the needle from awareness right up to conversion. Adapt to market changes. If we have a marketing strategy, obviously we have our eye on the ball. We are looking at market trends. We're looking at customer preferences. Are there any changes in demand? Only if we have a marketing strategy are we mapping this. And if there are any changes in the market, for example, during the pandemic, all of us had to, I mean, everything had to go online. That was a big trend. And we had a marketing strategy in place, people who were businesses that were flexible, businesses that had a strategy B in place. We were able to pivot very beautifully and use the pandemic to go global, for example. So only if you have a strategy are you able to keep your eye on the ball. Utilize cost-effective methods. Well, with limited budgets, I mean, this is the whole point of today's discussion, is that how do you make your marketing strategy effective by using cost-effective methods? And we'll discuss quite a few of them. And this is the last point is my most favorite. If you have a robust marketing in place, you are profitable, you are thriving as a woman entrepreneur, and obviously that leads to inclusivity in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, a matter which is very, very close to my heart and very close to Rika's heart and all of us who are in the entrepreneurial community, because essentially that is our goal, to make our members thrive, be profitable, and be job creators instead of job seekers. So this is really why each of us as a small business or a medium-sized business, whether you're a startup or a scale-up, you need to have a marketing strategy in place. So the question no longer is that, do I need a marketing strategy? The question, therefore, is how best can I make my marketing strategy? How intelligent can I make my marketing strategy? And how cost effective can I make my marketing strategy? So using this as the background, we are going to dive right into the rest of it as to, okay, then how? And before we get into the hows, I want to break some myths right here and right now, because I hear enough of them. And even when I from a corporate, I became an entrepreneur, I used to suffer from all of these myths as well. So I just want to lay it out right here, is that the biggest myth is that marketing and branding are for large organizations. I'm a small business. What marketing and branding will I do? I don't think I'll be able to cope. No, marketing, if you have a product or a service that engages customers, then branding and marketing are non-negotiables. Okay, so this is one myth that you can do away with. The second myth is that it's expensive to build a brand. It's not expensive to build a brand if you know how to leverage what you have inside of you, what is in your immediate ecosystem. Because what happens is we all of us, we suffer from the shiny ball syndrome. Something new comes in, something glitzy, something glamorous, we want to do it, we burn cash, and then we are sitting with no results. But if we know what the cost effective means are of building a brand, we are going to be able to do it. No, it's not expensive. Thirdly, we would rather invest our limited resources in our product and in other critical areas of the business. Dispel that myth, because marketing is a very critical area of your business. In fact, it is business critical. Okay, because no longer is marketing a cost center only. With digital transformation, with everything that we have to offer as far as AI and everything else goes, I mean, that is a separate conversation by itself. Marketing, therefore, has become a result center. So clearly, you can see how your ROI is coming from your marketing. Social media is enough. I don't know what, I mean, seriously, this is the biggest myth. You, invest in Instagram and you feel that's enough. You do one LinkedIn post, maybe once in a blue moon. That is not marketing. There's a lot more that is marketing. So let's leave these myths in the background. If we have, if we have these myths in our heads, let's just dispel them right here, right now, and move ahead. Okay. I'm a big fan of getting the elephant out of the room before we move on to other things. So elephant is out of the room. We are not going to talk about these things anymore. All right. Sometimes, yeah, okay. Okay. Um, so let's look at the ecosystem that we are operating in. We are in a scenario where our customers are truly, truly king. Okay. They want us to, these are, if you look at the things on the right hand side, they say that the customer wants you as a buyer, as a seller, to show them that you know them. This is the age of micro segmentation, customization, personalization, whatever. When I launched SBI credit card in India, I mean, we did something called the 14-day offer, and this was way back in 1999. Okay, I was still learning what marketing was at early days of my marketing career. And we launched the 14-day offer, and we took up a huge space in the Times of India Solus ad. It was such an expensive ad because we thought we'd crack the code that in 14 days from application to delivery of the card, we could we could do all of that in 14 days. And today we are in the day and age of pre-approved credit cards. So you can see the huge shift in marketing that has happened. So the customer is saying that you have to, do you care about me? Show me. Okay. Solve my problems. Don't push me. Okay. Don't adopt a salesy attitude. Show that you care. Solve my problems. Do you know what my pain areas are? Then solve them for me. Online existence, obviously, everything, we are online denizens now. Some of us who were not born into the digital age have done multiple workshops and have sort of started acing the online game. There is no option. Okay. The customer is truly buying. Gone are the days when the salesperson is selling. They want you to know their industry. They want you to know their challenges. They even want you to understand their business objectives and their uniqueness. And I'm not just talking about service businesses or product businesses, both. You are, I mean, I'm not just saying that if you're a consultant, you need to know this. Even if you're like a fashion brand, and I'm going to take an example of a fashion brand in some time. They do want you to know. And if this wasn't complicated enough, there's another layer for women as marketers, because there are certain embedded challenges that women face a little more than the other gender, because some women, they do have skill gaps in marketing, and then the imposter syndrome comes in, is that am I being able to evaluate well enough? Are people taking me for a big ride? Am I an astute business person? मेरे से तो marketing होता ही नहीं है, something like that. So many things I hear is that I'm an introvert. I don't think I can do marketing. It's not for me. So essentially, there are skill gaps in marketing. Of course, limited budgets is something that we've discussed already. It is a fact. I've seen a lot of people, and what else is a fact is that people will invest in their children. They'll invest in buying a lot of other things. But when it comes to investing in their own businesses, and I have seen that people, women are very, very hesitant, and a lot of times they don't have a pulse on they don't have control over their financials. Therefore, that whole ability to spend freely on their businesses, that whole mindset has not come in yet. Balancing multiple roles obviously goes without saying. All of us who are right now in the audience, and all of us sitting here as well, I don't know how many hats each of us is wearing, but we also have to wear the hat of a marketer. limited access to affordable, efficient resources. This is also a big one because it's a very fragmented service industry, right? Today, um, if you say that, okay, I want to do a website, there'll be 20 vendors. You'll not know who to go to. There are no entry barriers. There is no age barrier. Anybody and everybody is a so-called marketing expert and supposedly branding expert. So you don't know who to go to. You end up burning a lot of cash. Social media, you end up burning a lot of cash, but with no returns. So these are a lot of challenges that we as women, we already face in an already complicated market. How can we overcome these challenges? With an eye to smart marketing. We've all heard of smart goals, right? Specific, measurable, affordable, realistic, and time bound. The A is actionable. So specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. uh, Many of us would have done goal setting in this order. Today, I'll talk, marketing is something that you should do in this order. So your goals, your marketing goals have to be specific. They have to be measurable. So put down your budgets, put down what you really want to achieve, how many followers you want, how many new customers do you want, how many existing customers you want to retain. Marketing goal setting is a thing in itself. So, it's very important to look into that. Realistic, I mean, again, shiny ball syndrome. I can aim for the moon, but how much of it can I get done? Therefore, you have to be realistic. And in what time frame are you going to do it? So, 2024, we're at the beginning of 2024. What do you want to see your business as in December 2024? Map those goals down. Right. And I'm not going to read this. It's there on the screen. Uh, you know, just just look at this and understand it. It tells a story in itself. You have to be relevant. You have to be relevant to your target audience. And you have to really understand the pain point of your target audience and speak to it. You have to create value not only for yourself but for your stakeholders. Consistency, communicating your expertise, being the brand advocates and storytellers of your own business and not relying on others to do it. First, you have to write your own story. You have to understand how to narrate that story. And then you have to talk about how you will tell that story. So the new ROI really is relationships on investment, not return on investment. So marketing, a lot of marketing therefore goes into relationship building. Um, yeah. And you just look at the screen, we all know this, right? When you look at the screen, ZNMD, ZNMD has become, is no longer a movie. ZNMD has become a verb. Okay. So when you look at this, uh, typically when you even think about ZNMD, it's all about seize the moment, carpe diem, associations, relationships, so many, action, so many positive emotions that come into place. Translate all those emotions into ZMOT, which is the zero moment of truth. This is what modern day marketing is. All of those things come into play out here. Relationship building, zero error, then excitement, value, camaraderie. That is what modern day marketing is about. It is not just about social media. It's not just about stories and looking good in mirror selfies. It is not just that. It's a lot more than that. I want to move on, and Rika, at any point in time, if you want to stop and ask a question, I'm keeping an
No,
eye on the time, but I don't
yeah.
know how you want to run this.
Sure. No, you finish, then I have a few questions I'll ask then, not
Okay.
now.
Okay. Now, all that, whatever we discussed is great. We understand why, we understand how, we understand the emotions and the challenges behind marketing for a small business. But what is really most important is that I leave you with what the 6 drivers of your marketing strategy should therefore be as a small business. And mind you, the 6 drivers of a marketing strategy of a huge brand like a Unilever or a Nestle might look very different, but this is for you. This is for you as um, a business owner, an entrepreneur who's driving your own small business. Take a look at this, and I'm going to go into this in detail. Okay. Okay. Now, looking at the target audience, it's again critical, mission critical to know who is the consumer of your goods, or services. Whether you're running a product business or you're in the service business, who is your target audience? And here's an internal target audience and an external target audience. An internal target audience is as important as your external target audience. We tend to forget. So, by see your hand up, I'm just going to run through these six and I'm going to come back to you. Okay, who is your target audience? Unless you literally walk in the shoes of your target audience, how are you going to be able to solve their pain points? So, do you know who your target audience is? Map down the psychographics, map down the demographics, the um, even do a brand persona. Give your target audience, your ideal client, a name, okay, and map that out as well, and then solve for their problems. Because without really walking in their shoes, you'll not be able to understand how to customize your product for them, right? Many of us have an other, we look at it the other way around. We look at it as a from a manufacturer's angle. That's why a lot of the content that I see on websites that I audit, a lot of founders that I work with, I tell them to take the spotlight and take it away from them and turn it on their target audience, because that's when you'll get your story and your business right. Because it's not about you, it's all about them. So who are they? Do you know them well enough? Yeah. Just sharing an example of a client, so I run this marketing accelerator, and she was a New Chapter is a business that was some lady that I worked with. And she, of course, came from a corporate background, and she's a little, plus size, I would say, and she would never find clothes. She moved on to the other side. She became an entrepreneur, and she named her brand New Chapter because essentially her target audience was women who moved out of the corporate role and moved out of formal dressing into sort of more relaxed dressing. She looks at plus size clothes. Her models are these are all women from her own ecosystem, and she's also one of these ladies. So this is a grab from her website, New Chapter, and she called it a new chapter because her target audience was all about older women, second career professionals who were in the second chapter of their lives. So, and she sells beautifully. She doesn't sell volumes. She's a very niche product, but she's got her game right because she's understood her target audience. Secondly, build a strong brand. Unless you and once you understand your target audience, you'll build a brand for that target audience. So build a very strong brand. Always remember that marketing is great. Marketing will bring your new audiences to you, but it's only a robust and a resilient and a well-crafted brand that will keep your audience with you and stop them from flittering over to competition. I will, in the interest of time, Rika, maybe I will send this later as a follow-up. But if any of you wants to take a screenshot, this
Yes,
is
I will
something.
also share this presentation with the community through our different channels that we have.
Okay,
I'll share this
okay.
presentation with the community.
Because this, I would say, is basic hygiene these days. And at times I'm perplexed to see how many businesses don't invest time and energy on this. You don't need to do this with a big agency. Any designer, or even you, if you have some sort of understanding of your brands, will be able to do this. It's very, very important to have a brand identity kit, or what I call a brand guide. It'll help you be consistent in implementing all these elements, because we know that social media, people who work with our brands, sometimes they come, sometimes they go. We work with multiple service providers and vendors. If you have a brand identity kit in place, you can just take it and hand it over to people, whether you have an internal team or an outsourced team, or even a freelancer. You'll be able to keep your brand very consistent across all touch points, simply by following these 10 principles and putting it into a PDF. As simple as that. You don't need to have like a hard copy, just put it into a PDF. Right. Just another example of a brand that does it super well, Bumble. It's a dating app, but I just love the way they empower women. They talk about human connections. They talk about women actually making, taking charge, and making the first move. And here you'll see the brand identity kit, the colors, the hex codes and everything. It's all mapped out. And they use these same colors across different touch points, whether it's downloading the app, or whether it's an outdoor ad, or whatever it is, even if it's social media creative, they do it beautifully. The whole tone, the whole energy behind the brand gets standardized across multiple touch points. And that's when you get trust in brand. And that's when that toma that I talked about, it stays. Um, Again, as a founder, you are your brand, literally. It's your reputation and your credibility that drives and builds your business brand. Today, you could be handling something tomorrow. Enrica, for example, she has such a strong brand, but she, again, wears multiple hats. I will always be eager and keen to work with her based on her personal brand, because I've experienced her brand. I know, like, and trust her. And I would say that for all businesses, that whether you're whether you're running a startup or a scale up, you cannot forget that you are your brand. Therefore, do leverage your founder brand. Rashi does it incredibly well. I've worked with Rashi on her personal brand, and her journey has been incredible. But she has brought all her values, her passion, her unique personality into running the business. She runs a pet care brand. Many of you would be knowing she's the founder of Heads Up for Tails, but she has beautifully embedded her passion, her values, her love for pets into building what is probably, a case study in pet care branding across the world, um, not just in India. Of course, leverage is digital marketing, but when people talk about digital marketing these days, there's a lot of fear that comes along with it. I would tell you to strongly advise you to relax about digital marketing. These are the 5 must-haves. At this point, there's no need to really panic about inorganic reach. If you are able to do these 5 things well, out of which I would say emailers is probably something that is questionable. But if you're able to focus on your website, on organic reach and engagement through your social media, look at your content marketing, which is sort of a combination of created and curated. And once all of this is done, then invest in your SEO, and not the other way around. I see a lot of businesses turning this around on its head, which is why I've actually put down the order. When it comes to content marketing, Rika, I think I may be covering a lot of what the questions. I'll come back to it as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I'm just sort of, basing this a lot on the questions that come to me already. Content marketing, there are 2 kinds of content marketing: created and curated. We spend a lot of money on outsourcing creating content, but the more cheaper and the more the more efficient way for a small business to do content marketing is to use user generated content, where you get your community to talk about your brand, or you get your customers to talk about your brand in the form of testimonials, success stories, and sharing all of that. Use nano influencers who are not really spread out, who are okay with barters also, because they also have a good following, but they are very credible. Look at partnerships and collaborations. This is probably the most efficient way you can do digital marketing. And focus on your website. I think these are the 2 must-haves that I'll tell you. And again, especially women entrepreneurs don't do this enough, and I insist on it whenever I'm working with on the marketing strategy of founders. I insist that whoever is handling your marketing, even if it's you who's handling it or you've outsourced it, please do demand a report which looks at the analytics, because what gets measured gets done. Unless you're measuring, you're burning money, you're not being able to map return on investment, engagement metrics, so on and so forth. So analytics is the 5th thing. And the 6th thing, therefore, is literally leveraging on the power of people. looking at networking, really going out there. I mean, we all need a row of people who are applauding for us, who are fielding for us, who are talking about our businesses, referral programs, look at collaborations, be visible again as the founder. You may be an introvert, but break down your barriers and go out there, join communities, attend events, and go talk about your brand. Because if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? And the last slide that I want to leave you with is really, as a small business owner of a women-led business, we have to think like an entrepreneur, but we have to act like a brand. So as a brand, we have to understand our why, a lot of things that I discussed already. We need to make wise choices. We have to select our niche. We can't be everything to everyone. We have to be consistent. And yes, we have to invest in strategy. And because we are entrepreneurs, we have to look at costs, we have to look at return on investment, we have to learn from experiences, and we have to have a bias for continuous action. And I will stop now and take a deep breath, because that was a lot in a short time. But I really, when I sat down to make these slides, I was like, okay, where do I stop? Because all of this is so valuable and I need to talk to the community about it. But Rika, over to you really, and to the audience. If there are any burning questions, I'd love to be able to answer them, either related to what I spoke or else otherwise.
I really liked the fact that you picked out Rashi's example. Rashi is an entrepreneur. She's a part of the community, and I think a lot of us here know Rashi and how uniquely she has built her brand and how unique she is in this space. Um, I think Shubha has dropped out of the meeting. Shubha had a question, but you spoke about in the beginning, you know, entrepreneurs not knowing where to access for things like social media marketing, making a website, the different resources. But at Aspire for Her, I think that is one of the things that we do beautifully. On the website, there is a curated business resource pool for all the entrepreneurs who are listening, I think, online. If they access the website, they will see the curated business resource pool for marketing, social media, legal, finance, and these are verified resources they can pick out from. They don't have to go hunting. And as you mentioned, one of the trouble points, I would say pain points rather, for women entrepreneurs is that they go hunting and they burn a lot of cash in the process. So our aim basically is to not make them go hunting for these partners, so that they have all in one space. They can just come to the website, pick out their they have a list of partners, and then they can pick out the best or the person they vibe with. I think that is something we can kind of help each other also as a community. And finally, what you spoke about, having a group of supporters is very, very important. Networking, I think, is the key, is one of the big factors in success of a business. Your product, of course, has to be one of those niche products, but in order to sell the product, if you are not well networked, then you may have the best product in the world, but no one knows about it. I think it's the network, and women are good at networking. I think, with us talking about it, they just need to get better at it. They just need to get better at a few things. I think inherently women are conscientious. When they put out a product, when they build something, they build it with a lot of care, with a lot of love, and add a lot of value to it. But there are just a few things that we need to be mindful of. And very beautifully, you put out the smart strategies that we need to adopt to be successful business women. Devapriya, would you like to talk a little bit about the work that you do in India, UK corridor, and how this community can learn from it and maybe benefit, even dream of doing business in the India UK corridor?
Absolutely, Rika. And before I get on to that, I want to say that intentionally I spoke about networking, intentionally I spoke about community. At times, as a founder, you got 100 balls up in the air and you can't drop any, right?
Mm.
Um, I just want to bring it to the top of everyone's minds here today is that you have a trusted resource center, you have a trusted community in entrepreneurial in Aspire for her. And I think one should literally lean into all the resources that are available. So I think modern day marketing is about, it's no longer B2B or B2C as we knew it in our marketing days. It's age to age, human to human. And this is a beautiful community where one can practice all of it. And I'm so happy to hear that you have all these things in place. So more
Mm.
power to you. Um, Coming to the question you asked me, the India-UK corridor, Connexus really was built during the pandemic, and a lot of, when I was in touch with a lot of women from India and the UK, and I realized that problems were essentially similar. Yet there was an opportunity that the pandemic had brought for us, and that was digital transformation of our businesses and going, daring to dream. You mentioned the word dream, but daring to dream of getting into a corridor that is thriving, but is not really essentially focused on women. So that was where the caveat was, where the loophole was, and we kind of filled it. Um, we have various initiatives where we help women from in the Indian subcontinent, not just India, but from the Indian subcontinent to um, go out there into the UK, if not in person, but through a lot of virtual handholding that we do and understand each other's markets better. We have mentor matching, where peer mentor matching, where a founder from a similar business from the UK will be matched with someone from India and they run through a program together. We have an accelerator program, a 12-week accelerator program. It's a trade accelerator where we take them through all the business nuances, but at the end of it is a trade mission. And then we have a standalone trade mission. And Rika, you know how we work very closely with the British Business Group and the British High Commission to bring a lot of this into fruition. So
Mhm.
it's no longer a dream from where you are. Like, for example, we're launching this India-UK virtual trade mission on January 19. Whether you're in your office or whether you're at home, you have access to the best of the experts. So we have people from the Department of Business and Trade, ICICI Bank UK, we have Squire Pattenbox, Grant Thornton. These are some of the people that will come and speak at this launch conference, and they'll talk about how Indian women can do business in the UK. So slowly, little by little, we are making this possible. We're making this dream a reality for an Indian woman sitting in a small town in India and running her business to expand her offerings into the UK by not necessarily having to literally immigrate or go there.
True. Varisha, I believe there's a question from LinkedIn Live. Would you like to ask Devpriya? Get the answer.
Yeah, it's from Saujanya Shetty. Is there a way to consolidate analytics from all social media in a single dashboard?
Uh, if you're looking at something which is a standardized package, yes, it is. It's possible, but it's very expensive, I would say. So it's better to look at it on a medium to medium basis. Also, one size doesn't fit all. So what's out there in the market as a dashboard may have all the elements in place, but I may not be a brand that's interested in a TikTok, or Instagram may not be the, or Facebook may not be a social media handle that makes sense to me. For me as a business, I focus entirely on LinkedIn. So I would only, and the metrics are very different across all platforms. So I will concentrate on the one that I'm focusing on. I feel like as a small business, it's best to look at maybe two social media handles, maximum three, and focus all your energies there. And the metrics for each will be very different.
Mhm.
Thank
Are
you.
there any other questions for Devpriya? We've almost come to the end of the hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Time flies when you're
Yeah, time really flies,
engaged.
and when we start interacting, we don't see, I mean, how much time we've gone by. We've gone through almost best part of the hour. It was such an enriching and informative session, I would say.
Thank you. And I'll be happy to sort of, make a
Any
list of the
any
key ingredients.
more questions that any one of us may have? Ruchika, Dipashu, Pooja, Sharon.
Thank
I
you,
believe,
Devapriya, for
sorry,
this.
sorry, Dipashu.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to thank Devapriya for this beautiful session. I I joined little bit late, not late, but then I think I missed that VCP, TOMA, that full forms. If she can please tell it again. What is
Dipashu,
VCP?
what we could do is we can share the deck with you. Would that be good?
But it's not mentioned there. It's just mentioned as abbreviation
I'll
there.
tell you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Just so VCP, I was talking about visibility. So here the V stands for visibility, C stands for credibility, and P stands for profitability. And there is a direct equation between them. They're directly proportionate. So if you're visibility, so what you see, you can trust, right? So
Yep.
when you show up in a very positive way and you're true to your brand, your visibility grows, your credibility grows. If people can believe in you, they will do business with you. They will trust you. And you will have a network of loyal customers, loyal stakeholders, and therefore your profitability will also increase. So VCP is visibility, credibility, and profitability. TOMA is top of mind awareness. It's a marketing term which we've used across like multiple years. Top of mind awareness. And I was talking at that point about how important it is to build a brand which sort of, your target audience is aware of. So in a very cluttered and competitive market, how do you remain top of mind for your dream clients?
Thank you for that.
Most welcome.
So, Depriya, if you could just share the presentation also, I'll share it with the community for them to have a look at it later on.
Yeah, sure. My presentations are very visual, so a lot of what I've
I know.
said also has to be looked at. But I'd happily share it. Happily share it. Anything for the community.
Right. Thank you very much. And there is
One more
another.
question from
Can I
LinkedIn. How
get?
can I get in touch with Devapriya?
She's
So there's
on
one
LinkedIn.
exactly. I was going to say
Can
that.
you share the profile link here?
Will you do that? One of
I
you?
will. I
I'm
will.
also putting in my email ID if that's all right in the chat box. So
No, email ID we can't share in LinkedIn, no? If that is not that.
oh yeah,
Maybe LinkedIn profile, yeah.
somebody can probably just put the LinkedIn. Yeah, exactly.
I
I'm
let me try.
omnipresent on LinkedIn, always present. 20
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. Let me try putting it. Um,
So my full name is Devapriya Khanna. I don't think there are too many.
it's why can't I paste it? I don't know. No, I'm
Okay,
unable.
Rika, you can share with me. I will post on that
I
LinkedIn.
will
I will
just
reply to her.
yeah. Or I can tell you it's www.linkedin.com/in/Devapriya Khanna. It is Devapriya Khanna.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it right. You can just share it. Deborah, really thank you for sparing your time for the community. It was for all of us, I think it was really, really insightful to know about the world of marketing, and it's just such an important ingredient in the curry that all women entrepreneurs want to cook up. And I wish you all the best with the program that's going to happen on the 19th, and for many to inspire many women entrepreneurs do business in the India UK corridor.
Thank you so much, Rika, for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, 1 hour just flew past. Always
Yeah.
happy to come back and speak more to the community. Always ready to,
I think you need to have a physical session now.
I think
this
we need to do a
session.
longer session because there's so much to speak about. But today was great. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks to those who asked questions, and thanks to those who were there in the audience. It's been a great, wonderful 1 hour with all of you. Have a great
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.